Okay, so one of the biggest things when it came to hiring and training our team is sometimes as managers or leaders or owners of the business, we run out of time to do different things to level up skills. So in the last couple of weeks, I talked a little bit about using different AI tools, things like that. We've been working on the team ChatGPT account, and I created this custom GPT to be a sales role play buddy. So as a team member, if I'm in the sales role, I can come in and I can do as many role plays as I want to every single day and level up my skills as quickly as possible. So I thought it'd be really fun to kind of show you guys the behind the scenes of what that looks like. I'm going to show you the instructions. I'm going to show you why I set some of this stuff up. And I did some refining this last week, and I got to be honest, it completely blew me away when I started to test this thing out. My team is sitting here going, "This is awesome. I can't believe we have this," all that kind of stuff. Just shows you what's possible as you think about how do I start systemizing and doing different things in my own business. So take what you can from this. I thought it'd be kind of fun to just share this all with you today. So here I've got the ChatGPT account kind of pulled up for the team. You can see over here on the side, there's a couple different custom GPTs that I have created. And then we have project folders for each of the departments. So that's kind of another cool thing that we built is each department has its own project folder that has its own master prompt, instructions, SOPs, different things like that. So whenever a team member on the marketing department, as an example, needs to come in and ask questions or do different things, there's a folder for marketing, which I believe is under this Seymour. Yep, there it is. So you can kind of see that and go through that, which is kind of cool. But today I wanted to talk about this sales role play buddy. So I've got this pulled up, and how this works is there's a couple different, conversation starters is what this is. So I can come and say, hey, I want to do one of these 4 types of kind of sales meetings within the team and take me through that process. So rather than having to prompt it specifically, there's already the conversation starters that are going to move us in the right direction of what we want to do. So that's kind of the front end. Now, if I go into the edit GPT here, I'm going to show you kind of what the back end of this looks like. So over here, you've got kind of all of the configuration, all of the setup. So you can name it, you can give it a little bit of a description, but the instruction set, the conversation starters, and then the information of the documents that you provide with it, that's going to be the key to get it to do the things that you want it to do. So for this particular one, I'll take you through the instructions here in a second, but for its knowledge, I gave it call outlines, scripts, different processes and procedures that we have kind of in the training when a team member is learning these different things and being able to tap into it right here. Like this is how you give it the knowledge that it needs. I added in those conversation starters. So that's where kind of these boxes that I was mentioning before, they come in from these conversation starters saying, hey, I want to do a discovery call, or I want to do a site visit or a diagnostic, and I want it to be focused on these types of things. So you can add different conversation starters to make that prompting even easier so that the team member doesn't have to come in and think, what should I prompt this thing to get the best result? It just is there for them. The instructions. So here's the big piece, and I'm going to see if I can do full screen here. You'll see there are a ton of instructions within this thing. And I think it's important to go through what are the sections of this. So as you think about creating the instruction set for a custom GPT of your own, what types of things should I be thinking through? And my encouragement is don't try to do this alone. Like plug this into ChatGPT or Gemini or Claude or wherever you want to kind of build out your instruction set. Go in and ask it to help you write these. I didn't write these by hand. I had the tool help me write them, and I refined it with it over time. So talk a little bit about what it is, the purpose of it, the different modes that I want. And this was kind of important. I wanted it to have a setup mode, a role play mode, and then a coach mode. Essentially, when somebody comes in and uses this, I want it to have a setup. So it's going to ask some questions. It's going to make sure that the everything is set up properly before jumping into the actual role play. And then it will go into character, and it'll be the role play in role play mode. So now it's acting as the person that you're talking to. And then when you say like end call or let's wrap it up there, then it will bump over into coach mode, and it will give different insights on how you did. It will grade you in different areas, which is kind of cool. So the setup mode, so it goes through and kind of talks through what is setup. This is the first message. It's going to ask you which call do we want to do, which is what this is actually doing, because we have different calls that it can do, or different things like that. So it's going to have and go through and ask all of these questions, which I think is really important. If I'm going to come in and role play with a tool like this, I want the team to be able to say, I want to work on an easy example, or I want to work on something that's really hard. I want you to give me every objection in the world so I can just really work on that piece of it, and kind of set that stuff up. So there's all of that in the setup. Then you get into section 2, which is the call blueprints. And this is where, because we're doing multiple different types of sales calls within this, there's going to be a blueprint for each one of them. These correspond to the knowledge base, the PDFs that I plugged in as well. So it talks through kind of each of these different types of calls, what's the purpose of the calls, what's the expected outcome, different things like that. So it gives this context so that when it goes through the end of it and says, hey, you did really well here, you didn't do well in these other areas, it's able to look back and say, what was the purpose of the call? What was the things that should have happened based on all this information that we have? And now it can effectively grade you on each one of these. And then, of course, you can do custom call in here as well. Section 3 then is the roleplay mode. Like, how do you respond? How do you go through this? And you tell it, when in roleplay mode, I want you to do this. Follow these general rules. Talk about these types of things when it comes to warmth controls. If I say it's cold, I want you to act very skeptical, very time sensitive. Or if it's very hot, like I want them to be enthusiastic and excited. Like, we define these things so it knows how to interact with you. Difficulty controls, advancement rules, things like that, like what to do as it moves forward. So this is the, like, in roleplay mode, this is what I want you to do and be. Section 4 is the objection engine. So this is where you can set, the call to easy, medium, hard, brutal. It gives you some examples of different types of objections so that the tool is trained on the types of things to throw back at you as the team member. Section 5 then is the coaching mode. So this is, we went through the setup, we went through the role play side, but once we get to the coaching side of it, like, what do I want that to be? If I'm sitting in the seat and I'm a salesperson, what do I want to be coached through? What do I want to be reviewed on? So we have to define that. We have to explain that out to this tool so it knows how to respond. And it gives, I gave it a coaching format. I want it to look this way. I want the responses to be this way. I want you to take me through these particular areas and grade on these specific things. Now, we may find that as we do more and more and more of these, some of this coaching format may need to change. We may see different things we want to do, but you got to give it the instructions is kind of the key point. Section 6 is on style and conduct. So what's the tone? What's the tone of the coach? And then some things you just don't want it to do, and then give it some boundaries. So section 7 is all about boundaries. Do this and don't do this. And I think that's really important to give those guardrails to ensure that this flows in the way that you would expect it to flow, as if I'm sitting down with a team member and doing a live role play. So this is kind of the back end setup. If you're going to set something up like this, these are kind of the areas that I'd recommend. Use ChatGPT or whatever your favorite large language model chat tool is, and just type in, hey, I'm looking at building this type of thing. Here's the basic parameters that I would like to build this off of, and maybe just use kind of these was it seven different categories, and just say, hey, I want in these categories, this is how I want to build the instruction set, and then ask me questions on how to set this stuff up, and then just go through it until it builds the entire thing for you. And then you go into your custom GPT, you add in the instructions, you'll hit save, you'll have that all there, build this stuff up, and then you just hit update or create, I think, if it's the first time that you're doing it. And then all of a sudden, you've got your custom GPT built, and your team can use it. So what's really cool, if I go to the view GPT here, you can do a couple things. So you can just text prompt it, which isn't bad. Like, you can go back and forth. We're in an environment where we just need to practice a few things. We can text prompt it. That's fine. You can do a quasi voice type thing where you're going to dictate to it and then have it give you text outlay where you could have it then speak back to you. Or my favorite tool is actually use the voice mode. Click into this and say, I'm ready to do a sales role play. It's going to ask you those questions live. Like, it's literally going to act like somebody that you're having a conversation with, and then it feels like a true role play. It's been really, really, really cool to see. I wanted to show a little bit of the background because, I don't know, it's really fun to build these things and talk about them with y'all, but I want to show some of this too. So hopefully this has been helpful. and you can take something from it. I know that we're going to continue to build these things in our business because it makes our life way easier when it comes to what can we replicate every single time someone comes on the team. How do we give them the tools that they can be successful? And how do I do it in a way that protects our time so we can continue to build the things within the business that we need?